Welcome into all you football addicts.
Welcome.
We are going into the void now. It's no longer football season.
Yeah, we got about almost 2 months now, over 2 months now until the draft. So
Yeah, it's draft season now, and for me, it switches to hockey and NASCAR season. So I'm
normally
hyped
for me it
about
would be
that.
baseball, but right now they're in the lockout, so I got nothing to watch right now. I mean, I'll pay attention to hockey a little bit, but I'm not nearly as big of a fan as you are.
Yeah. Penguins are going to win the Stanley Cup, so fine. And it's also Flyers night, like I was telling you.
Mhm.
Penguins are hosting the Flyers in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby's going for his 500th career goal and his 50th against the Flyers. Only one person has more goals against the Flyers than Crosby does. That is Mario Lemieux with 51. So it just makes perfect sense that he'd score his 50th and get his 500th in the same game. So
That's crazy. That literally like 10% of his goals.
yeah, he's
But
very
like
good Flyers.
for the non-hockey fans out there, like how big of a number is 500 goals? Like compared to like football, like 500 touchdowns is huge for football, obviously.
I mean, 500 goals. I don't know where it ranks all time. Obviously you have Gretzky at the top. I don't know what the numbers are. Ovechkin is moving up there. So Gretzky is at 894. Crosby gets his 500th. He will be up in. They'll move up tied for 45th all time.
Oh, so 500 isn't as big of a number for hockey as it is for football, then.
Yeah, well, I mean, it is for today's players, though.
Hmm.
When you look at, I don't know if it shows their career when their careers were on here. It just shows the birth dates, which doesn't help. I mean, for guys that are active right now, though, I mean, you got Ovechkin at fourth all time with 759. Patrick Marleau at 23rd with 566. And then Crosby at 46 with 499. Those are the only three guys that are active in the top 50 all-time goal scorers. So in today's game, it's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, anytime you get to 100 milestone, it's always recognized as something big. 100 games played, 100 goals, whatever. But back to football, though. Let's talk about the Super Bowl. Getting there. I will say, technically, it's the LA Rams' first ever Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams organization's second overall between St. Louis and LA. 23-20 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Should have never happened. The Bengals should have won the game. There was a phantom holding call on Logan Wilson. 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. Under 2 minutes to go. Now, everyone's going to say, which everyone has said, but they missed the T. Higgins face mask on the 75-yard touchdown. But well, my response to that is that happened with 14:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. The referees had all that time to make up for that missed call, and they don't do it. They let them play, and under 2 minutes with 3rd and goal, that is when they call a call that shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, I mean, I I'm kind of on the fence with the whole situation. Like, I don't know if that necessarily should have been called, but yeah, I mean, you already mentioned the whole T. Higgins thing too. I also just found it really weird. Like, that was a relatively penalty-free game until that last drive with the Rams,
3.
and yeah, they threw 3 flags when they were down by the end zone.
No, there was 3 penalties accepted the entire game until that red zone sequence.
Yeah, but they still threw a couple flags down there too at the end. I don't know how many it was. Was it 3 or
4.
I don't know. Yeah,
The holding, there's a defensive pass interference. Or no, it was a holding, a defensive holding, and then they had offsetting offensive holding, defensive pass interference, or unnecessary roughness. And then they call it defensive pass interference. And then
yeah. I don't know if that should have necessarily been called pass interference. I could have seen a case for holding a little bit, but not pass interference.
well, my thing too is like, okay, so you called Logan Wilson for holding Cooper Kupp going across the middle. But the play before that, they didn't call anything, and Jermaine Pratt clearly held Darrell Henderson.
Yeah.
It made no sense, and it was
I mean,
very annoying.
I know you were upset because you're rooting hard for the Bengals, but I don't know. This Super Bowl helped me out a lot because I hit on the numbers twice in my pools. I had 3-0, so I hit for a nice 1,500 for that. But
Yeah, I was trying to get into some late and couldn't.
I hit on a couple of prop bets too. I got the coin toss right, and I got the Gatorade color right.
Yeah, I didn't do that well. Granted, I did pick up. I got some help because the Rams did win. I was gonna win either way on that future bet because before the play right when the playoffs started, that's when I placed my Bengals future, but I also placed a Rams future.
Mm-hmm.
I forget what the other one was. I think Bills. Yeah, but I mean Rams were at plus 600, so that $60 helped cover some, not very much of the losses. But yeah, I mean, and then people are gonna say, well, Joe Burrow still had an opportunity to go tie the game, which he did.
I mean, not with that offensive line he did though.
Well, the thing is they should have never. First off, they should have never been throwing the ball on 4th and 1. I don't care how much time you have; they still had one timeout. So that was the first thing. And second off, the 3rd and 4th and 1s in this game were absolutely atrocious for the Bengals. Joe Mixon wasn't on the field for any of them, I believe, which again made no sense. Considering he ran for 72 yards, was the leading rusher in the game. And they did a nice job running the ball against the Rams front, I thought, as you can see, 4.8 yards per carry for Joe Mixon. And even like in the 4th quarter, he had some very good runs. So I have no idea why they didn't run the ball on 4th and 1. And even if you're not going to run the ball, I know I saw some people saying about shotgun on 4th and 1 is always just a terrible call. And I agree.
Yeah.
At least if you're under center, you have the threat of a QB sneak. Not that anyone would be stupid enough to QB sneak against Aaron Donald. But yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Obviously Donald had the game-winning play, but I don't think he had all that great of a night as it was. At least, like he could have had a much better night, but they were double teaming him majority of the night, and he couldn't get through at one point. That's why he almost got ejected at one point when he started a fight.
Well, yeah, I thought the Bengals offensive line did a nice job in the first half of containing him. And yeah, but they just it wore down. The offensive line wore down throughout the game.
Mm-hmm.
He in the second half he got hit a lot and sacked to the tune of 7 sacks, which I believe is the most in Super Bowl history.
It was tied. I forget who the other one was. I think it was the 49ers team, though.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember which one, but I remember seeing it. Or maybe it was Theismann. I don't know. But I just remember 7 was tied for the most in a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah, when you look at it, third down, 3 of 14 were the Bengals on third down, 1 of 3 on fourth. And the thing is the Bengals defense was very good as well on third down. They held the Rams to 6 of 15 on third down, but they let up the key 4th and 1 on the game-winning drive for the Rams, which that's another thing that I thought about the Bengals play call on 4th and 1. I mean, you could have done that. Run Jamar Chase on a jet sweep, and you're going to almost guaranteed to get it with how fast he is and getting outside. Again, that's another play call that you can make when you're under center and not in the shotgun. So, but yeah, Cooper Kupp MVP, 8 for 92 and 2 touchdowns. He again, I wasn't as confident of him winning the MVP because before the final drive, they had held him down pretty much. I believe, I don't know if it was exactly before the final drive, but at one point in the game, they showed his stats and he only had 4 catches for 53 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought they did a really good job before the final drive. And the final drive, they just went, it was all Cooper Kupp.
Yeah, I was surprised when Cooper Kupp was announced as the MVP. I thought that they were going to give it to Stafford, who I had a pre-game bet on being the MVP. So I was a little annoyed that it wasn't Stafford, but
yeah, I didn't bet MVP because if I was going to, it was going to be Joe Burrow, and the odds were just terrible on the offshores. So,
I mean, the bet for Stafford wasn't that great either. It was
the favorite.
I put a $10 bet and I would have won 22, but
yeah, he was the favorite.
Yeah.
Going in. I did think that Aaron Donald would have possibly gotten it.
Yeah, he could have too.
But yeah, big thing was, OBJ went down in the second quarter, tore his ACL, which I called once again. It's like clockwork calling ACL tears now.
Yes, I literally saw it happen, and I said the same thing. I was like, "That's another ACL for him." And my girlfriend looked at me, and she's like, "What are you talking about? Like, how do you know that?" I was like, "Because he just dropped without anything. That's a clear indication right there, ACL."
Yeah, and
And plus, I was like, he already had one, so
it's a plant, and then he goes down. And,
yeah,
it's a second one in the same knee in 16 months, I think it said. Left knee. But that was a thing that I didn't understand the Bengals defense after that happened. I was like, bro, this is such an easy game for Lou Anarumo now.
Mm-hmm.
Double team Cooper Kupp the whole game. Make Ben Skoranek or Kendall Blanton or, Akers or Henderson out of the backfield beat you. And I don't feel like any of those guys really did beat them. It was just Kupp beat the double teams down the stretch.
Yeah.
And then, go 1-on-1 on a fade route in the end zone made no sense.
Yeah. Our bets that we were talking about on Friday didn't really pan out for us with the tight ends. Neither one really did much of anything.
No, it was pretty bad. But it's it's fine. Still stings. The Bengals, unlike the Rams, will be back in contention. The Rams are going to be turning it into a dumpster fire here next year.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald could possibly retire. Andrew Whitworth is going to retire more than likely. Eric Weddle is already gone.
Mm-hmm.
OBJ is a free agent, which I don't understand how they can possibly re-sign him, because they just signed Robert Woods to a contract, and they have to extend Cooper Kupp soon, which is going to be 17, 18 million a year for Cooper Kupp. So I don't know where you're going to find money to re-sign Odell, even if you want him back. The only way you're going to do that is if he takes a small, less money than what he can get on the open market.
See, I don't know why they would want him back anyway at this point. Because for one, now he just tore his ACL again for the second time. Yeah, and two, what?
Not going to be ready for the start of the season.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that. And also, they've got Robert Woods still, don't they? So
coming off a torn ACL.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they have him under contract already. So they don't really need to sign Odell, regardless of how good Odell actually was with the Rams. I don't think they need him, so I don't really see why they would go after him.
Yeah, and they're working now on extending Stafford as well, so that's going to take up more money. They do have Joseph Noteboom, who is more than likely going to be Whitworth's replacement at left tackle. But my one friend asked me if the Rams are going to win another one. I'm like, no. There's no. I mean, especially if Donald retires. I mean, there's no chance. I'm not giving the Rams any semblance of a chance to go back-to-back or win another Super Bowl within the next 2-3 years.
I forget whose it was, but I did see, like, how all the experts do, like, a way too early power rankings for next year or whatever. And they had the top three were the Chiefs number 1, Bills number 2, and the Rams number 3. So they still think the Rams will be up there. I don't think so. I think they could potentially make the playoffs again, but they're not going to make another deep run.
I mean, they're, I think, at least going to be the second best team in the NFC West. Mm-hmm. And, you don't know how the Seahawks are going to bounce back if Russell Wilson stays, that is. But, the Niners are transitioning to Trey Lance. I still don't think that matters. They have the defense to do stuff there. Mm-hmm. And the Cardinals, if they can just stop blowing their games down the stretch in the second half of the season.
Yeah. And apparently they have all sorts of turmoil now with Kyler Murray, too. So who knows what's going on with that?
Yeah. But, I mean, I love that Richard Sherman put out about how Stafford isn't a Hall of Famer even with a ring. I kind of agree. I mean, what has he done? He wasn't the reason, really, that they won the Super Bowl. I will say that. They had a great defense.
Yeah.
And he made the throws that he needed to when they needed him.
Yeah. But, I mean, for me, I don't know. I think he's borderline. Like, if he obviously plays a couple more years, maybe gets a couple of those awards, he'll actually be, like, a surefire Hall of Famer. But I think it's just the fact that he was on the Lions for all those years, and the team in general was that bad. So he never got to have those kind of accolades and stuff that a lot of these other guys did.
Yeah, but he had Calvin Johnson for the early part of his career.
And he put up the stats when Calvin Johnson was there.
And he still couldn't win a playoff game.
Again, that's because he was on the Lions, and the Lions as a team suck.
But he, combined with Calvin Johnson, that combination should have been able to win at least one playoff game while Calvin was still playing. And yeah, I mean, the thing is, if you get to the playoffs, quarterback, even if you don't have a great team, if you have a great quarterback, you can win a game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I won't say that's what the Bengals did because their defense had been playing lights out all postseason. This was the most points they let up, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Or tied for it or something like that.
Okay, they gave up 24 to the Chiefs.
They essentially gave up 24 to the Rams, too. It was just that Hecker dropped the ball on the extra point.
Hey, well, actually, I mean, that point didn't end up mattering, considering it ended up closing at 4.5 for the Bengals. But yeah, Joe Mixon threw a touchdown. I was mad, bro. I don't know if you remember us talking about it on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
I had the prop on my offshore plus 1,100 for any non-quarterback to throw a touchdown. I was so mad when that happened. I was like, come on, dude. That was $110 right there that I could have got.
Yeah, I saw another one too on Twitter. It might have been from one of our friends that was on the show on Friday, but there was a bet that I saw on Twitter that said a surefire cash-in bet is plus 2.5 players throwing a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
because it seems like every year some sort of trick play happens where a non-quarterback throws a touchdown.
Yeah, I was also mad. I said this on Friday, and the Rams, of course, the Rams, being the assholes that they are, ran the Philly special, didn't complete it because they suck and they can't. I told you, no one else is allowed to run the Philly special in the Super Bowl except for the Eagles. You can't do that, bro. Run your own plays. I think a big stat on here: 5 receptions for 1 yard for Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I noticed that before.
He didn't get any separation. But the thing is, I'm pretty sure all 5 of those catches were right at the line of scrimmage on little flare outs where it was an easy run and tackle for the linebackers. But again, I wish I was disappointed. My lock of the Super Bowl, Joe Burrow over 2.5 carries. He got 2. I was like, bro, you get sacked 7 times. Why don't you just start running?
Yeah, I put in a crazy parlay of I put everybody's rushing stats in a parlay just for fun, and I actually almost hit it. I think I got Stafford's wrong. I think I said under. I think it was 11 or something like that, and he got over. And
it wouldn't have been 11.
Or it was something like that. It was in the teens.
It was. I mean, I got it at 4.5 for Stafford.
Or no, then was it Burrow that had the double digits? One of them had a double digit.
Probably, yeah. Burrow, I think, was at 9 or 10.
Yeah. But yeah, one of them was the double digits. I had under, and they got over it. And a couple of the other guys too. I did hit though Akers under because I knew that they weren't going to have a run game. And Mixon just barely got over. He was 67.5 or something like that.
Yeah, a big one I was happy about I hit straight up McPherson over 1.5 field goals. That, that was actually not a bet. That was on Prize Picks. If anyone wants to get in, this app has been fantastic to play on. Prize Picks, you gotta look it up. I know our guy Alex on Full Slate podcast. He is big proponent of Prize Picks, and he's gotten me onto it. If you want to sign up, you can sign up with his code Full Slate, and it'll get you 100% deposit bonus, I believe. I know they just gave me a $25 promo today, and I used it, hoping to win that bet tonight. It's pretty much, parlays, player prop parlays. Essentially, you're picking over under. You can do a max of 5, but they have these flex plays on the parlays that you don't have to win all of them. You don't have to hit all of them to win. In five legs, you can hit 3 or 4. Obviously, it decreased the amount depending on how many of them you hit. But yeah, I was mad. I could have hit some of them. A couple that were close were I had one that I hit Joe Mixon over a half a touchdown, but then I was 2 carries short for Cam Akers. I needed over 14.5. He got 13. And once again, I said over 2.5 rushes for Joe Burrow. He only had 2. One I was really mad about, Stafford. I had under 280.5 passing yards. Finished with 283. I was like, bro, come on. Come on, man. I had that combined with Evan McPherson over 1.5 field goals. So that one still, that was a $20 entry. I hit 1 of 2, so it still paid out $10. That's good thing about the flex plays. That's my golf play. And then my other one, that was a big one that would have been very close. I hit 2 of them, but the other 3 were close. McPherson over 1.5 field goals, Mixon over a half a touchdown, Burrow over 2.5 rushes, Akers over 14.5 rushes, and Uzama over 2.5 receptions. Like I said, Burrow had 2 carries, Akers with 13, and Uzama only had 2 catches, so that was tough. But I don't think I had any other. Oh wait, yeah, there's another one that was kind of close. Burrow rushing attempts was a big play for me in a lot of them. Jamar Chase under 3.5 rushing yards. I was pissed off about that. He had 1 carry for 4 yards. Like, bro, that is some Vegas stuff right there. Granted, I was limited to winning only 4 out of those 5 on that play anyways, because Sony Michel supremely disappointed me in that game. He did not get many carries at all. He wasn't even on the field. They used Henderson a lot more than I thought they would. But yeah, get on Prize Picks, man. It's a great app.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sort of a rookie still at the whole sports betting thing because it just got legalized. So I've only been using FanDuel right now, but I definitely need to expand a little bit.
Yeah, it's they have this thing going on right now that it's taco discounts. So it's anything that's marked with a taco is a reduced player prop. So I just hit it's one of my 5 legs in the one I have today. But Lionel Messi over 2.5 shots was reduced from 3.5 shots to 2.5 shots. And I mean, it wouldn't have mattered 3.5, 2.5. It would have mattered 7.5 because he got 8 shots today for PSG. I also hit PSG live money line plus 1205. Kylian Mbappe gets the 1-0 winner, 90+3. Was fantastic to watch the end of that game for PSG.
Mm.
Yeah, the one they have going on right now for the next 26 minutes, 16% off Joel Embiid rebounds, 12.5 down to 10.5. So
I would take that.
just some taco discounts. But I guess they're having, this is the third one, I think they said. I don't know how many days they're doing it. I think they're doing it. I don't know. But yeah. T. Higgins, 100 yards, 4 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns. 75-yarder. Defensively, I mean, take your pick. Donald, Miller, Jones. But yeah, I thought the Bengals defense was very good in this game.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
thought,
they showed up in the first half, and then everything kind of started falling apart in the second half.
yeah, and it was kind of scary because the Rams went right down the field and scored a touchdown after the Bengals stupidly went for it on 4. I hated that decision by Zach Taylor to go for it on 4th and 1. The first quarter on your first drive at the 50-yard line. I was like, bro, it's too early for that. You can't punt the ball, put him down inside the 20. Kevin Huber is more than capable of doing that. I mean, he's 10+ year veteran.
Yeah. But I mean, I thought the game was over though. I know it was only half, but at the start of the third quarter when with the long touchdown and the interception to start the second half, I was like, this game is over now. The Bengals have all the momentum. They're going to go down and put up like 30 points and win this game. But then the Rams righted the ship again and held it down.
Yeah, and I mean, they had scored the Bengals 17 unanswered because of the T. Higgins touchdown with 5:47 to go in the second, and then the touchdown and the Evan McPherson field goal. I hit on Evan McPherson over 7.5 points, which was cool. Hit on Stafford over a half interception as well. I knew he was going to throw at least one.
Yeah, well, the one wasn't his fault either. That was Skoranek just couldn't handle the ball.
Yeah, that was the second one, right?
I believe so.
That was the one I didn't see. I didn't see the T. Higgins touchdown live either. I was outside getting Uber Eats. And then I got locked out. So I was freezing. Had to get someone to get me. But yeah, I didn't realize that the Rams went for a 2-point conversion. Never mind. It counts as a 2-point conversion. Yeah. They missed the okay.
I was like,
stupid.
When I saw that live though, I thought they actually did try for a fake. I didn't see it at first that he dropped the ball. I was like, what the hell are they doing? Then when they replayed it, I was like, oh, he just had butterfingers and dropped the ball.
Dude, I said I got shades of Tony Romo flowing through my head when that happened. But yeah, before we end, I guess, our talk about the game, how about the halftime show, dude? The halftime show was the greatest halftime show ever.
Yes, it was definitely the best I've ever seen. I obviously can't really attest for any of the ones before I started watching or before I was born or whatever. But like a lot of people say like the Prince halftime show was the best they ever saw. Michael Jackson way back in the day was the best they ever saw. I don't remember those, or I don't really like, I'm not really into those artists, but like this felt like it was my childhood. Like, so like, it was just like me, my girlfriend, like we were all just sitting there, like jamming out to the music. Normally I don't really pay that much attention to the halftime show. I just kind of like watch it and like scroll on my phone. This time I didn't even touch my phone the entire halftime because I was so like invested in this show.
Yeah. I mean, they brought Eminem on kind of late, I thought.
Yeah. That was
that's
the only thing I was
because,
disappointed about, is that he had like the least amount of time out of anybody, it seemed like.
but that's because they they had a 50 Cent intro
Yeah.
in there that I loved, because it's always one of those things where every year you're like, well, who are they gonna bring on that wasn't announced? You know,
Uh-huh.
even though stupid In Sync when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I'll still never forgive In Sync for not bringing JT back. Justin Timberlake should have been in that Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, that'll be tough to top next year in Phoenix. I mean, it was definitely an LA performance,
Uh-huh.
an LA massive big time um, Super Bowl.
Yeah. The other thing I was kind of disappointed with the halftime show, though, too, or specifically Eminem, is he wasn't wearing a Stafford jersey. I thought for sure he was going to come out in a Stafford jersey because he's from Detroit. I thought he was going to be repping the Detroit Lions Stafford jersey when he came out.
Yeah, I was mad at Snoop because he was wearing Rams colors, even though he's from LA, California.
Oh, yeah.
I was just mad because I was rooting for the Bengals. I know a lot of people were saying about how Eminem kneeling was a big issue. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, the
Well,
thing
because
is,
apparently the NFL told him not to do it, but then they said that they knew he was going to. So I don't know.
yeah,
The whole thing was weird.
the NFL. I saw a thing today that said the NFL watched all of their practice performances, and he did it every time. And if the NFL didn't want him to do it, they would have told him. So, but no, I thought Dr. Dre and Snoop combined was awesome. Um, I didn't know. I mean, Mary J. I didn't think was. I mean, the one song she had
Mm-hmm.
was the song that I always think of when I think about Mary J.
Yeah.
But the other one was like weird. The other one was like emotional, and I was like, "What is
Mm-hmm.
going on right now?"
Yeah, that didn't fit with the vibe of the
But yeah,
the only person that I feel like didn't fit though in the entire thing was Kendrick Lamar, because it was
yeah,
like all the old school rappers and all that, and then him.
yeah. Um, I mean, he didn't get that much time either, which I was fine with, because, like you said, everyone else was like '90s rap,
Uh-huh.
and obviously he's current rap. Um, yeah, but I don't know. It was still the greatest halftime show ever,
Mm-hmm.
hands down. Uh, yeah. So Bengals plus 4.5 covered, under 49. I was right on that one. I didn't bet it.
I bet it and I hit it, so I was happy.
I'm happy I gave you something.
Well, I was going for the under anyway because I knew like the Bengals have had low scoring games pretty much the entire playoffs, so I kind of expected that to be the case here too.
Yeah, could have went over had the Bengals gotten the game tying field goal.
Or if Burrow had like 2 more seconds, he would have seen Jamar Chase wide open after he put Jalen Ramsey on the ground, and that would have been a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But the Eagles are going to win the Super Bowl next year. Might as well bet it now. I
I
already
don't know about
put it
win the Super
in.
Bowl, but I'd put in a bet for them to win the East at least.
I already put my Eagles Super Bowl bet in, dude. Plus 3,500 is what it was currently. Again, I think that this year felt exactly like 2016, the year before they won.
Mm.
It's just like we made the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs 2016, I don't think. That was Carson Wentz's rookie year.
Uh-huh.
And they went 7, 8, and 1, I think. But it kind of felt like this year. I mean, this year was essentially Jalen Hurts' rookie year, even though last year technically was, but this first full season. And I think, bro, if they sign, they're gonna do exactly what they did the year of the Super Bowl. They're gonna go out, get some key, low-cost veteran free agents, and they're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. They're gonna do it. They need a pass rusher. They need some help on the pass rush because Brandon Graham's going to be gone. Or no, Graham's not going to be gone. Derek Barnett is more than likely going to be gone. They're not going to re-sign Derek Barnett, I don't think. So they're going to need a pass rusher. I think the Eagles are going to go big and sign a big money free agent at wide receiver. And then they're gonna draft some offensive linemen in a very good draft for offensive linemen, especially tackles. So that is my plan for Howie Roseman this offseason. But we'll get more into that when we talk about the Eagles in a couple weeks during our draft previews. All right, let's get to NFL news here. So some coaching stuff. The Raiders, Josh McDaniels hiring former Ravens linebackers coach Rob Ryan. Yes, he is still in the league with his flowing white mane that he has.
It's pretty bad. He's like the forgotten brother, though, because like everybody always thinks about Rex and all that, but everybody always forgets about Rob.
Yeah, I mean, but he's so good though. He's just as good as Rex at defensive coaching.
Well, I also think that's probably why he's kind of forgotten is because he was never a head coach, and I don't think he ever will be. He's comfortable in the DC role or defensive, yeah. So I don't see him ever being a head coach.
Yeah, he is signing with the Raiders as a senior defensive assistant. And be a key role with Josh McDaniels and Patrick Graham, the new DC in Vegas. Speaking of defensive coordinators, former Broncos head coach Vic Fangio not going to coach this year, going to take a year off and then be one of the hottest defensive coordinator candidates next season. I don't think he's going to be a head coach candidate next year, like Doug Peterson was when he took his year off. I mean, he could. You never know. But I think Doug Peterson was so hot this year after a year off because he had success in Philadelphia before the last two seasons. Obviously, Super Bowl win. Vic Fangio really didn't have that much success in Denver. So, and one coordinator interview here, the Saints new head coach Dennis Allen looking for his defensive coordinator. They are interviewing Chargers linebackers coach Michael Wilhoit. Keeping with the Saints, going into just some off-season notes that I got from around the league, NFL, around the league, whatever, Ian Rappaport. Keeping with the Saints, though, they are not expected to trade wide receiver Michael Thomas this offseason. They want him back, and we'll see. I mean, I feel like he hasn't played in 2 years. I mean,
yeah, it feels like that. I don't know. I love Michael Thomas, or at least what he's done in the past. But if I were the Saints, I'd get rid of him now before he loses all his value. He's already lost a little bit of value based on his injuries and all that. But yeah, the team is now, their window is pretty much closed already. So I don't think they're winning anything anytime soon. So try to build for the future. Get rid of him, get what you can back for him, and move on. I mean, they have the worst cap space in the league right now anyway. That would just help it.
Yeah. for sure. Yeah, I mean they could use the cap space. They could use the draft picks to replenish. I mean, they could even do what the Vikings did. They trade Stephon Diggs to the Bills for a first round pick. Use that same pick to get his replacement at receiver.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. How many teams are still willing to part with the first round pick for a guy that hasn't played much in the last 2 seasons?
I mean, I think one of the teams that comes to mind for me is one of your teams, the Eagles. They have 3 first-round picks this year. Why not use one of them for Michael Thomas?
They already have enough injury issues. They don't need another one.
I'm just saying, though, they have 3 first-rounders, and I mean, if healthy, Michael Thomas is one of the best in the league.
The team in my head is the Las Vegas Raiders. They like to make splashes. And
well, they're going to go out and sign Devontae Adams in free agency.
Yoki.
Just saying, reunite him with Derek Carr.
Well, luckily you mentioned the Packers, Chris, because the Packers are expected to go all in for Aaron Rodgers in 2022. They're looking to spend as much cap as possible and help him as much as they can on offense. So I would assume that means re-signing Devontae Adams, drafting a wide receiver, and getting some new offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I really believe what the Packers say, though, because they've literally done nothing for him over the last 4 years, at least.
Well, they're in scramble mode now.
Yeah.
They need to do everything they can to make him feel like he can stay, or make him feel like he wants to stay.
All I know is the Packers screwed themselves over. What was that? 2 years ago now, 3 years ago now, when they drafted Jordan Love in the first round.
2019. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, are they? Do you think the Packers are having a little buyer's remorse now?
Yeah.
Seeing Jordan Love 2 years of practice and seeing him play in 2 games this past season. And he wasn't that great against the Chiefs. He for sure wasn't good against the Lions in the second half of week 18 when I needed him. I needed him to cover the spread, and he couldn't do that. So, yeah, I don't know. I still think Aaron Rodgers is gone. I think he's gone. Well, he's going to Broncos.
He's under contract, though, right?
Yeah.
So things would have to happen for him to go somewhere else. But
he can force his way out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to, I don't think it's going to turn into a Deshaun Watson situation. The Packers are going to trade Aaron Rodgers if Aaron Rodgers tells the Packers he doesn't want to be there. And the Packers are going to be happy getting 2 first-round picks, or possibly 3 if some team's dumb enough to do that for a 38-year-old quarterback. But I, for one, again, I'll reiterate this, like I said before, I would not pay over 1 first-round pick for a guy that you're only going to have maybe 3 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to look it up now. I don't remember what the trade for Favre was that the Jets did, because it's like a similar situation. I feel like.
Yeah, I don't know.
It says the Packers trade quarterback Brett Favre to the New York Jets for a conditional pick in 2009 draft, but it didn't say what.
If you go to Pro Sports Transactions, that's a good website to look up draft pick trades. You just have to see what you said. The 2009 draft.
Yeah, it was a conditional pick in the 2009 draft.
Draft pick transactions. Yeah, pro sports transactions is what I use for like everything.
Oh, it was a 4th rounder. So, and it turned into a 3rd rounder if he played 50% of the snaps for the Jets. A 2nd rounder if he played 70%, and a 1st rounder if he plays 80% and the Jets make it to the Super Bowl. So obviously it wasn't a 1st rounder. It could have been a 2nd rounder though. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. On here it doesn't show anything. Unless yeah. I don't know. It doesn't because the
I'm just
Packers
going to assume that it was a 2nd round pick though, because I'm pretty sure he started the entire season for the Jets that year.
in the 2009 draft, at least on here, it shows the Packers had their own first round pick or their own second round pick, but they traded that second round pick to the Patriots. I don't see any of the Packers picks that they, unless they had someone else's pick that they traded. There's the Jonathan Vilma trade. uh, no, that's Brett Ratcliffe, not Brett Favre. Just traded Kenyon Coleman, Brett Ratcliffe, and Abram Elam in a 2009 first round pick. Or no, the Browns did. Oh no, to the Browns for 2009 first round pick. Guess who that was? Mark Sanchez.
Of course.
Number 5 overall. Yeah, I don't.
I found it. It turned into a 3rd round pick, 83rd overall, which they used to select Clay Matthews.
Oh, see, I was looking at the wrong thing. I was looking at all the Packers draft picks, not the Jets draft picks. That was my issue. Yes, I see it now. Well, the Packers traded that pick. Yeah, the Packers traded that to the Patriots. In that, the Packers traded up to 26, or traded back into the first round.
Yeah.
To get Clay Matthews at 26 because they were pretty bad that year. Had the 9th overall pick. So, anyways, the Bengals, AFC champions, they are going to extend head coach Zach Taylor this offseason, looking to get that deal done. The 49ers, they are going to try to trade quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo within the next month. Obviously, within the next month would be free agency coming up. Obviously, they can't trade him yet until free agency opens, or the new league year, not free agency, new league year, which I believe is Cinco de Mayo this year. Could be wrong.
It's after the draft?
The new league year and the free agency are always before the draft. Or no, I don't know why I said Cinco de Mayo. I was thinking March 5th.
I was like, wait a minute.
I don't know what I'm saying. Oh no, I was right in my head initially. March 16th. Yeah, that's when free agency starts. So yeah, March.
Yes, so we got a little bit over a month.
is when they can trade him. But, at the combine is where all the trades get done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I think John Lynch will be talking to some teams at the bar in Indianapolis.
And if nothing gets done there, I could definitely see it turning into a draft day trade too.
Yeah, I feel like the last 2 years, though, we've talked about all these trades going into the draft. I feel like if stuff doesn't get done at the combine, it's not very likely that it'll happen on draft day.
Yeah.
Garoppolo's old teammate there, the Bucks want Tom Brady back. No surprise, because
I don't blame him.
I believe he hasn't officially filed his paperwork with the NFL yet.
And he's going to be one of those people that doesn't, though, because he's always going to want to leave the door open.
Yeah. I actually just watched the first episode of Man in the Arena last night. It was pretty good. His first Super Bowl in 2001. Very interesting dynamic between him and Drew Bledsoe that season.
Mm-hmm.
But if Tom Brady doesn't come back this year, the Bucks are apparently going to look to swing big on a quarterback. I would think that would mean number 12, another number 12 in Green Bay. That would make the most sense of the available, potentially available, big-time free agent quarterback or trade candidate quarterbacks.
I mean, for that, though, that one is all about what Rodgers wants, though. Does he want to go to Tampa Bay?
Well, why not? All you got to do is look at Brady. You go to Tampa Bay, you win a Super Bowl. That's how it goes.
I know, but they're losing potentially two big offensive weapons. Gronk's already gone. He said he's not playing without Brady.
Yeah.
And Godwin's a free agent again. So unless they keep him, I don't think that he's not obviously going to stay.
Resign him. They'll resign him.
But
their defense is already set up. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. If I was Rodgers, though, I think I'd rather go to a team like either not Kansas City, Denver or Pittsburgh. Like one of those two, I think would be a better spot for him.
See, but I don't think so. When you look at the landscape of each conference, you're more likely to get to the Super Bowl in the NFC than you are in the AFC right now, with how many good young quarterbacks are in the AFC.
Yeah.
Granted, would the Packers be willing to trade someone in conference? That is another issue that Russell Wilson has an issue too if he wants out of Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if they trade, come on. If they trade to the AFC is going to win the Super Bowl for the next 10 years. I mean, that would just be – you might as well play the Super Bowl between two AFC teams because there's no quarterbacks left in the NFC. I was talking to someone – I don't know if we were talking about it before, but I know I was talking to someone about it before. I was like, bro, what young quarterbacks do the NFC have? You have Dak. Okay. The NFC North doesn't have any young quarterbacks worthwhile.
Well, they got
okay.
Kellen Mond, right? From Minnesota.
Justin Fields doesn't count.
Yeah.
The NFC South doesn't have any young future star quarterbacks right now.
Trask, you don't think he'll be a starter eventually?
Apparently, the Bucs don't believe in him. The rumor is that they're going to swing big for a quarterback if they can't get Brady back. I mean, the NFC West, you have Kyler Murray, but he sucks in the second half of the season every year. So, and Trey Lance is unproven.
Yeah.
The future is very bleak at the quarterback position in the NFC. Now, I will still put my hat in the ring for Jalen Hurts, but again,
Yeah, and
he only had one season.
especially since the quarterback crop this year for the draft isn't all that great either. There's
Yeah.
like one, maybe two solid NFL starters right now, I think, in the draft.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at NFC, who's going to draft the quarterback? Washington's probably going to draft one. Detroit could. Panthers could. Falcons always could. Saints. Bucks. The Seahawks if they trade Russ. So yeah, you got like 7 teams in the NFC that could potentially draft a quarterback. 7 of 16. I mean, almost half the NFC could draft a quarterback this offseason if they don't get one in free agency or trade.
But I mean, you could make a case for more of them too. Like the Packers, if they trade Aaron Rodgers, even if they don't, they could still potentially take one.
Yeah, but they have Love. If they trade Aaron Rodgers, they're going to give the reins to Love. I don't see them not doing that. To give him a chance, at least, you know. They're going to give him at least.
The Giants with their new regime too. I don't know if they're really in on Daniel Jones.
It sounds like they are. It sounds like they're committed to him for at least the 22 season. But in the AFC, I mean, you already have Josh Allen, Mac Jones in the East. Tua could also be in that conversation if Mike McDaniel unlocks his potential. Zach Wilson as well, if he works out for the Jets. That whole division could be stacked within the next and Tua come up. I should probably say Mac as well if he continues to develop, but he was very good this year as a rookie, so I'm kind of already putting him in there. The AFC North, you got Lamar, you got Joe Burrow, Baker's probably going to be gone. I mean, I think the Browns are going to sign him to an extension, but I don't think a long-term extension is the right option, but that's probably what the Browns are going to do because they're the Browns. The AFC South, that's the biggest question is where Deshaun goes. That could change a lot of landscapes. But in the AFC South, you don't really have anyone. Ryan Tannehill's not really young anymore. I think he's 27, 28. So, you got Lawrence, but he needs a lot of help around him. There's not that much on the roster down there. And the AFC West, you got Mahomes, you got Herbert. Derek Carr's kind of in the Ryan Tannehill thing where it's like he's not really that young anymore. So, but in the AFC, I don't think there's 7 teams they are looking to draft quarterbacks. The Steelers, the Colts, the Broncos. Those are the 3 that really the only ones that I can see drafting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And the Steelers are the only one that are like solid on that they're going to do that. So I don't know. It's becoming unbalanced between the 2 conferences in terms of quarterbacks, anyways. So I don't even know how I got on that. Tom Brady talk. Tom Brady swung me into that conversation. I don't know what happened, but
hey, it's good conversation though.
Seahawks, they reiterated that they do not want to trade Russell Wilson. So that is what it is.
I don't even know what to think about the Seahawks anymore. I feel like they're one of the most disappointing teams over the last decade. Like
I've been getting mad.
it's been 10 years since their Super Bowl against the Broncos, right? I believe. Or
Super Bowl 48. So it hasn't been 10 years yet.
8 years, but still. Well, which one was first? Was it that or was it the Patriots one? It was the Broncos one was first, right?
Yeah. They went back to back 48, 49 and lost
Yeah.
one.
But they looked like they were going to be like the next great dynasty. But then after that Super Bowl loss, they kind of just fell off. They haven't really been the same since.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like Rodgers. They haven't given Russ much help, especially at offensive line. Their defense has been trashed since they lost all their Legion of Boom and some other people.
Yeah.
I've been getting mad though because I've been hearing a lot of talk about Russell Wilson going to Philadelphia. And I'm like, no, please, no.
Didn't he already give a list of like 4 teams that he would go to?
Last year, yeah. Who knows
And
that?
the Eagles weren't on it.
No, but it could change. Again, I don't want him. I'm fine with not having him. I still believe in Jalen Hurts. So, we're sticking with the quarterbacks here. The Colts quarterback Carson Wentz probably going to be traded or released prior to March 19th. March 19th is a big day. That is when his $15 million base salary for 2022 becomes guaranteed.
Huh.
So Indy's going to try to get away from him.
I mean, that's crazy to me because he had a decent season, I think, in Indy. And they don't really have much option other than him, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's, what did he have, though? He had a great running game with Jonathan Taylor. Really good offensive line. But besides Michael Pittman, who was he throwing to?
Yeah, T.Y. Hilton was out for a lot of the season.
Yeah.
And even when he was there, he wasn't that big of a threat.
Yeah, he's old now. I mean, he is definitely declined.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean,
tight ends, Allie Cox and Doyle, but they don't have much else at receiver for him to throw to, besides Michael Pittman. So,
I mean, this is a decent year to get a free agent wide receiver, though. There's a couple good ones.
Yeah, I mean, I will say though, Carson made some absolute terrible decisions in throwing some interceptions that he did. And it's hard. It's very hard to look away from the Jacksonville game at the end of the year that could have put them in the playoffs. It's tough to not look at that.
Yeah.
Especially because, in that game, they weren't able to run the ball. And so you're like, well, this is where you have to have a good quarterback. When you can't run the ball, you have to have a quarterback capable of winning your game without a running game.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't able to do that.
Yeah. Well, they're definitely going to have to find another receiver, or they're going to have to re-sign one because T.Y. Hilton is a pending free agent as well.
Yeah, I don't know if they will.
But yeah, the wide receiver crop in free agency, though, is probably one of the best I've seen in recent years. Like Allen Robinson. And there's a couple of guys on here, too, that were free agents last year or pending free agents last year that got tagged. Because Chris Godwin's a free agent, Will Fuller's a free agent, and Juju's a free agent. Those 3 were all in the free agent class last year as well. And then there's a couple big veterans, too. Like, obviously, I said Devontae Adams, Jamison Crowder, Emmanuel Sanders, A.J. Green, all solid options as well. So they got options. It's what they do with the options.
A.J. Green would be interesting. Okay. Shifting. Actually, no, not shifting yet. We're still on quarterbacks. The Rams, I already mentioned this earlier. They are going to turn their focus on extending quarterback Matthew Stafford this offseason. Not sure what that contract looks like. Not sure how many years Stafford has left. In his 30s. But, I mean, we're seeing quarterbacks play longer and longer now. So, Stafford is specifically.
He's 34.
Okay, I was getting there.
Yeah, he just turned 34 last week on February 7th.
Yeah. So, yeah, depending on how long he wants to play or how long he can play, you think a minimum of 3 years. Gets him 37. So I don't know if he's not a free agent, right?
I don't believe so.
No, I think he signed through 22. I think that's what.
Yeah, he's got one more year on his contract, and it's a base salary of 12.5.
Yeah, cap hit of 23 mil, which isn't terrible. It's actually a nice contract that the Lions put together. That's because what they did was front loaded the cash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a nice job by the Lions.
Yeah, they did what they had to with him. They just couldn't put the pieces around him.
Yeah. So, probably looking at, I don't know, 3 years.
I'd say probably like 3 for 50, somewhere on there.
No, it's going to be more than that. It's going to be 3 for 75 at least, I would say.
You think 25 a year? Because that's double what he's making now.
Yeah, well, for one, he just won a Super Bowl, and for two, the Rams are probably going to pay him like a top-level quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
And when you look at quarterback salaries right now, 2022 quarterback salaries, you got, I don't know if we want to go off cap number or cash. What do you think?
Wait, what was that?
Actually, hold on. So cap hits for quarterbacks in 2022. Top 10. Matt Ryan, 48.5 million. Aaron Rodgers, 46.5. Kirk Cousins, 45. Deshaun Watson, 40.4. Tannehill, 38.6. Russell Wilson, 37. Mahomes, 35.8. Dak, 34.5. Jared Goff, 31. And Wentz, 28.3. That's the top 10 in 2022. That's just cap hit. Yeah, Stafford's 13th at $23 million cap hit. So, I don't if I can go. Hold on, let me look at the base salaries though for 2022 because Stafford's still 14th there. And when you look at the top quarterback base salaries, Sean Watson is making the best base salary, 35, tied with Kirk Cousins at number 1. Tannehill's at 29, Rodgers at 26.5, Garoppolo 24.2 is top 5. But yeah, that Jimmy Garoppolo deal, 5 years, 137 and a half. Where was what was Tom's deal? Tom was 2 for 50, right?
I believe so, something like that.
And that's why I say 3 for 75 would make sense for Matthew Stafford. Because 25 isn't the top in terms of average annual salary. But it would be pretty close.
Well, actually, his contract, Brady's contract, was only a 1 year, $25 million deal.
Yeah. Well,
So,
they redid it after the first one.
yeah. No, I'm saying like next year's deal would be a 1 year, $25 million deal.
Yeah. I mean, because you look at Kirk Cousins' recent extension though. Kirk Cousins got 2 years, 66. His last extension.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he's up for another extension now because he only signed 2 years.
I don't know why they would extend him because Kirk Cousins isn't that good of a quarterback, but
Well, Kellen Mond looked like a dumpster fire in the preseason. So that's why they would extend him. Because Kirk Cousins, why not? Vikings have a great shot. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, Vikings have a great shot at being the best team in the NFC North. With the offense that they have.
mm-hmm.
Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
They just don't have a defense right now. Which again makes me shake my head at why they hired an offensive coach.
Who knows?
But yeah, Kevin O'Connell, Rams OC, expected to start on Thursday, I believe, in Minnesota. They have the parade tomorrow, I think, in LA. So I assume that Kevin O'Connell will not get too drunk on Wednesday since he'll have to fly to Minneapolis the next day. But with the Rams, safety Eric Weddle, he's going to have surgery. He tore his pec during the Super Bowl, and he's re-retiring. How easy was that for him? I mean,
yeah.
You're out for 37 months or 27 months or whatever, 23 months.
Yeah.
You're out for 23 months, and then you come back
for a Super Bowl
play
run.
3 games. you play 3 games, and you win a Super Bowl, and then you're out again.
I mean, I would do that even with if I was guaranteed to get injured like he did. I'd do that for a Super Bowl ring.
And Rams wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. tore his ACL, like we said. Gonna be tough to get ready for the start of the season. I would expect, whether he's on the Rams or some other team, he will be on the PUP into the season, meaning he won't be able to play until week 7. Because I don't know if it's worth it to, either way. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it if it would be worth it to keep him on the active roster when cuts go through and take a roster spot away from someone else and then put him on IR like a lot of teams do with injured players in the preseason. Or if you just, like I said, keep him on PUP, and that means he's out for the first 6 weeks. Yeah, depending on where his rehab is and whatnot. So
yeah.
And the Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, he suffered a knee injury during the Super Bowl as well. Saw that hit that he took, cringing in pain, but it's fine. It was just a sprain, and they said he won't have to have surgery on his knee. So that's the good news for the Bengals, anyways.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything else. I haven't seen anything. It's still relatively slow in the NFL news world.
Yeah, it's 2 days after the Super Bowl. There's not going to be much going on, especially with all the coaching hires having been filled already and free agency not coming up for another month. It's going to be a slow couple weeks for news.
Yeah. I mean, we still got 3 weeks, or no, 2 weeks. 2 weeks till the combine. Till players get to the combine anyways on March 1st. And then on-field drills start Thursday, March 3rd. So we'll get there. We got some good shows coming up, though. I forgot to put on here, updated 2022 NFL draft order, because I know last year we showed it every week throughout the playoffs, but I forgot about that. And so we're just going to show you at one time here, with all 32 spots solidified now. So we got Jags, Lions, Texans, Jets, Giants, top 5. And then you got the Panthers, Giants, the Justin Fields trade last year, getting the Bears pick at 7. And then the Falcons. Broncos, weirdly enough, they are back-to-back years at number 9. Weirdly. It's just, yeah. And then your Jets, once again, come in the second first-round pick from the Jamal Adams trade from the Seahawks. Luckily for you, Russell Wilson sucked this year.
Oh, yeah. I was very happy with that.
Washington Commanders will make their first-round pick in their new name history at number 11. Possibly a quarterback, Malik Willis. There you go. Vikings at 12, Browns 13, Ravens at 14, Eagles back-to-back 15-16 from the trade back with the Dolphins last year, from 3 to 6. And then the Carson Wentz trade from the Colts. That is why they have 16. And then the Chargers and Saints round out the top 18 of the non-playoff teams.
Yeah. One thing I noticed about this, and I don't know if it's a product of the extra game or what, but I don't know if it's also happened in past years too or not, but there's a huge jump from pick number 7 to pick number 8. There's a 3-game jump right there. And the number 8 pick has a 7-10 record, which in a normal year, even if you take off the loss, that's a 7-9 or a 6-10, which I feel like number 8 is very high for that kind of record.
Yeah, but the Giants weren't the original holder of the 7 pick.
Yeah, but the Bears still only had a 4-13 record.
11.
Oh, they were 6-11?
Yeah.
Oh, well, still.
Otherwise, they wouldn't have been at 7. They would have been up at 6.
Yeah. But still, I feel like 7-10 is a very, like, quote unquote, good record to have at number 8.
Well, I mean, look at all the mediocre teams from 12 to 18 that went 8-9 and 9-8.
Yeah.
Because the Vikings, Browns, Ravens were all 8-9, and then the Dolphins, Colts, Chargers, Saints were all 9-8.
Yeah.
So it was tough to get a farther back pick at the 4, 7, and 10 teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the extra game will do that to the middle picks, in terms of non-playoff teams.
Yeah.
And then the playoff teams here, Eagles slotting in at 19, Steelers at 20, Patriots at 21, Josh McDaniels, his first pick as Raiders head coach at 22, Cardinals at 23, Cowboys 24, Bills at 25, Titans at 26, Bucks at 27, Packers at 28, Dolphins have their first pick of the draft at 29 from the Trey Lance trade last year. And then Chiefs at 30, Bengals AFC champs at 31, and the Lions get their second pick from the Jared Goff trade with the Rams at 32.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going to happen with this back end of the first round this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because, the Dolphins are there and the Lions, so it's kind of going to be tricky with those teams in there. But also, the Bucks, if they don't get someone in free agency at quarterback, that could be a quarterback spot. The Steelers are a quarterback spot. And you don't know with the Raiders, even though Josh McDaniels really wants Derek Carr to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Yeah. I think one of the most intriguing spots is a team I already mentioned before, but it's the team with the most first-round draft picks this year, your Eagles. So I think number 19 is a very intriguing spot as well, because that's their third and final pick of the round. So if they already got two players that they really like or really want, and they don't really value any of the other guys all that high, they can easily trade back with one of these other teams that are on the board.
Yeah, and that could be a prime spot, too, for the Eagles.
Mm-hmm.
Or any teams wanting a quarterback to get in front of the Steelers. But the Eagles could also call the Steelers and say, hey, we're getting steamed. Teams want to trade up in front of you to get a player. We saw that happen before with Mitchell Trubisky in the draft that we attended in person 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Trading up one spot with the 49ers to number 2. So, we've seen it happen before where a team trades up one spot and it's because other teams want that spot. So, I still think the Steelers are going to trade up far, at least 5 picks. If you go back, really the first quarterback spot that is a consensus quarterback spot is Washington at 11.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they are going to trade up all the way to 10. They did that in 2015 for Devin Bush. They went from 20 to 10 with the Broncos. I don't know if your Jets will be willing to trade back 10 spots, but
there have been reports though that the Jets are willing to trade the 10th pick. So, but I don't know about the 10 spots thing. That would be the only question. But I know that they are willing to part with the 10th pick.
Well, if they trade back with the Steelers 10 spots, more than likely they're going to get draft picks that would allow them to move back up if they wanted to. And the Jets, being that Joe Douglas is the Jets GM, if they want to trade back up, more than likely it's going to be trading back up with the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yep.
They already have that working relationship. But yeah, so I still think the Steelers are going to trade up far to get Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
I did ask my friend that's a Lions fan today. I was like, Lions going to take quarterback at 32. They're not going to take one at 2. But would they take one at 32? And he's like, man, I don't know. Said because Goff played well down the stretch when Dan Campbell was calling the offense. I think it depends on how Ben Johnson does at OC, but Lions going to need a quarterback soon because Goff is only signed through 22, I believe.
Mm-hmm. They need a quarterback now anyway because Goff is terrible, but that's beside the point.
And then we have the teams without a first-round pick. The Bears' first pick comes at 39 in the second round. the Seahawks at 41, the Colts at 47, the 49ers at 61, and the Rams don't even technically have a third-round pick yet. Their third-rounder is a project from Detroit. The diversity hire compensatory selections, which don't come out usually until late March. So, so technically, I believe the Rams' solidified first pick is the 5th round. I think they have a 5, 6, and 7 right now. I could be wrong. Let me go on to my favorite website, like I said before, Pro Sports Transactions. Great site. If you want to look at draft picks. Let me get to draft picks 2022, and then select a team. Wow, they got the Commander's name in there already. I'm surprised. So yeah, until they announced the compensatory picks, the Rams' first pick that they definitely have right now is a 5th round pick. They have a 5 and 2 7s to go along with their projected 3rd round compensatory selection. So yeah, 5th and one of the 7s are both their own picks. The other 7 is from the sham Aqib Talib trade to the Dolphins last year. That ended up actually being 2 years ago. It was 2019. That actually ended up the 2020 5th round pick that was in that deal that they traded to the Dolphins ended up being Darnell Mooney.
Not a bad deal for them.
Yeah, well, except that he's not a Dolphin.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying not a bad deal for the Bears, though.
Yeah. So yeah, that was another thing why I think the Rams are just going to be destructed. I mean, they don't have any picks.
Well, everybody knew though that they were all in this year. That's why they traded away their future for Stafford.
Oh yeah, but now they have Stafford, and okay, you're going to extend Stafford. You're not going to have any rookies to put around him. You're going to have to spend as much cap as you can to get
Which isn't
veteran
much.
replacements. Yeah, they don't have much cap space, so
Right now they're in the negative, so they have to figure that out first.
I don't know. But yeah, next Monday we'll be back and we'll be starting our draft preview series, going 2 picks at a time. So we're gonna kick it off starting at the top of the draft, number 1 with the Jags, number 2 with the Lions, also number 32 for them as well. And make sure you check out the show on Friday because we will have another great guest. Friday shows, man, that's where all the guests come on.
Yeah.
So we're going to have my boy Troy Hermo coming on, great betting Twitter guy. He has stage 4 cancer, but he's still rolling along, rolls out the maps every day for us, and got to get on his VIP Discord for all his VIP picks. But Troy Hermo will be on the show this Friday. Looking forward to that. And that'll be our Super Bowl our season recap show as well, where we're going to show all of our predictions, preseason predictions versus what actually happened, and how we thought the season turned out overall. So don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio as well. Thank you, Chris.